There is a thing in our town people do not talk about except soft and sideways. It cuts through the trees behind the cemetery, and it is older than the cemetery and older than the town. My mother told me about it when I was a boy, and she did not tell it to me like a myth. She told it with the same plainness she used to tell me not to run with the kitchen knife. She had me shelling peas, and the sun was laying gold in the plates of the window, and there was a fly the color of oil in the glass. She said, "There is a path in Barrow which you do not leave once you enter. You go in on the dusty side and come out the other, and you will be better or made right. Folks say it's mercy. It ain't mercy. It's an exchange. Listen to me. If you ever do walk it, keep to the path, and do not answer the cries for help. They will call your name. They will say they know you. They will ask for water or a hand. They will be children. They will be old. They will be your own blood if something wants to put the hook in you. You do not answer. What happens if you do?" I said. "You don't come out," she said. "You'll join them. And the path will still take its due." I didn't believe her then, not with all of me. But we had men who had put boot to that path and come back with hair turned stark and eyes gone flat. I watched them in the diner with their eggs cooling and their hands quiet as if listening to something inside. Men who used to be loud and red-faced at ball games now speaking low with care. One of them was a fella named Eli Creel who ran cable and used to drink behind the feed store. He stopped after he walked it. I was 17 when I asked him, "What did you see out there?" I said, "In the diner." He looked at me like you look at a dog that is sniffing a porcupine. He said, "You need to hear the rule again." I heard it. "Say it then," he said. "Don't answer the cries. Keep to the path." He nodded. "Then you know what you need to know. Does it work?" "It works," he said. I came back and I put down the bottle without a fight. But my head ain't quiet. The quiet was bought just like anything is bought. After a while he said, "If you are going, put a stone in your mouth. Something you can taste. Something not found in those woods. Gives you something to know is real." "What did you do," I said, "about the voices?" "You are asking me to remember." He pushed the eggs around. He did not look at the door or the window. "You keep walking. You keep your eyes on the ruts and the snakes and the nettle. You learn something terrible about yourself and you walk anyway." He slid a folded napkin over to me. When I opened it there was a black smooth pebble like glass. "I ain't going out there again," he said. "Take it." "I'm not going either," I said, and I knew I was lying. "Then throw it out a window and be done." Outside the diner the street was a long zipper of heat shimmer down to the warehouse where they stored the salt for winter. Beyond that the line of the trees. You could look at those trees long enough and they would begin to look like they were listening. My sister Ruth was sick. What she had was not the kind of thing they make movies about. It was cellular and quiet, and it took her hair first and then her color and then her strength. Medicine had its say and it did good and then it did less good and then it did nothing. Some nights I heard her cough and I knew my mother was awake in the other room listening to the cough same as me, and we were both measuring it and lying to ourselves about what the numbers were. "Mom," I said that evening, "tell me again." She would not look at me. "I told you when you were a boy." "Tell me now," I said. She stared at me for a long time before she spoke. "The path is a straight line that does not stay straight. You will walk and you will come to places that do not make sense. You will meet what you have already met or what you will meet later. It ain't memory. It ain't prophecy. It is hunger wearing them. There will be cries. Do not answer. That is the rule. There is always one rule. The rest is just agreeing to die a little for what you love." Ruth called from the bedroom. Her voice was no bigger than a sparrow in the chimney. "Cal." "I'm here," I said. I went in and she smiled, and I thought of all the times she had laughed at something dumb on television and how the laugh used to fill the house and how now it couldn't even fill her own throat. I sat and told her about Eli and the pebble. "You going to go?" she said. "I don't know," I said. "You're going to go," she said. "I know you." "I will be back by Sunday dinner," I said. "You ever tell the truth? When I can look it in the face?" She laughed anyway. I put the pebble in my mouth and tasted the cold stone. I would have gone into the woods then if there had been a door to them in her room. There are men in town who walk around with a weight tied to their ankle you cannot see. When they sit, the invisible rope curls under their chairs. When they sleep, it wraps them like a lover who will not let go. They do not cry. That is not what the weight is for. It is to keep them from walking into the trees in the night. I went down to the warehouse and found a man named Doss who used to haul salt and now did not haul anything. He stood on the loading dock and smoked and looked at the rails where the train came through once a week and on Sundays. "You walked it," I said. He flicked the cigarette away with disgust. "All you children do is ask." "I didn't ask you," I said. "I asked a question to the air." The air answered. "I can walk on or I can stop here and let the air talk." He smiled without showing his teeth. "You got a mouth on you." "Got a pebble in it too," I said. He looked at me in a new way. "If you go, don't try to be brave about anything. Bravery is the same as pride, and pride is a simplification. Keep to the ruts. Do not answer." "Why all keep saying that?" I said. "We keep saying it because it ain't a suggestion." "What did you see?" I said. "Tell me one thing." He was quiet a long time. There was a shift in him like the earth turned under his boots. I saw my mother sitting in the ditch with a tire iron in her hand and blood down her blouse. I saw her say, "Son, please help me," except she'd been dead 8 years. I saw my own name written in maggots on a log. I saw a deer stand up on its hind legs and unbutton its own skin and step out of it like it was a garment, and it talked with the voice of my boy's old teacher. "Yeah, that's what I saw." "That's one thing," he said. "Do you sleep at night?" I said. He smiled again. I sleep like a man who owes money to the night. In the evening I went to the church because I did not know where else to go. I sat 3 rows back and there was nobody there but an old woman reading a hymnal. The pastor came and sat beside me without saying hello like he was a neighbor and we were watching rain. "Your mother called me," he said. I did not speak. "I cannot tell you not to go," he said. "I can only say there is a reason the path exists and it is not grace. I think God allows the wilderness its contracts to teach men the cost of something. If you pay it, do not forget that it was paid. Do not become cruel on account of the cruelty you had to commit to get what you got." "What if I don't get it?" I said. "Then you will be cruel anyway and angry with nothing left to aim at." On the way home I passed the edge of Barrow Wood. There is a feeling the trees give off when you stand there. You can taste the iron tang in the air and it is like standing under high wires. I heard a voice. Not a voice exactly. A sound that could be a voice if you decided to put a word to it. It said my name. It said, "Cal." It said it like a memory whispered by a dying man. I had never gone in. I went home. That night Ruth slept and my mother did not. I stood in the kitchen with the fridge open, letting the cold light shine on me like a prayer booth. The pebbles sat on the counter black.